Our next session is around the rise of the machine. So we have talked a lot about the need for humanity during COVID, but clearly most of the presentations in some way have involved technology and machine learning. So should we start a revolution is the question that Asher Gordon, head of Biddable Media, is asking at TUG. Asher, welcome to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining my talk today. This is part of a two-part series about the rise of the machines in digital marketing. My colleague Hannah will be talking tomorrow about how algorithms are ruining creative and what you can do about it. But my talk today will be about if us as humans should start a revolution and fight back to stop automation taking full control over everything that we do. As automation increases, our access to data actually decreases. So automation has become more and more prevalent in the digital marketing space. I'm going to focus on why you shouldn't just let the machines take over your accounts without maintaining that element of control. I've provided some industry press headlines to show how much of a talking point this really is at the moment. Marketers feel that understanding and feeding the machines, like the Google and the Facebook platforms that you see, the correct data is necessary to get great performance. Automated functionality is growing in availability. It can be used to build creatives or allocate budgets or a lot of other things. I'm going to focus on automation provided by bidding strategies for this talk. Setting and forgetting automated features won't get you great performance. These machines can only be fed a limited amount of detail, like your conversion goal, your CPA, and the different keywords you want to target. On this slide, I've highlighted the differences between what the automated platforms actually show you versus what they don't. Data provided by those machines don't tell the full story. It only shows limited information like how many campaigns are included and the performance constraints. There's so much data that the machines don't take into account, at least initially. Information such as if there's going to be supply chain issues or peaks or troughs caused by seasonality. So just making sure you're using that knowledge and information for additional optimization is really, really valuable. Using additional data will improve your results. We all know that automation is here to stay, and it should definitely be part of your strategy to get amazing results. To get the best performance, you should be picking the automating features that suit your goals, like a target CPA or a ROAS bid strategy. Alongside that, you should be performing human checks, like looking at performance over time and checking how other changes have affected your performance, as well as making additional adjustments based on seasonality or increases in competition in the auction. Doing this will ensure that machines are helping and not hindering your campaign efforts. So if you want to join the revolution, don't set up automated changes and leave the platforms to it. Do understand what information or data is vital to performance and find a way to feed that into your optimizations. Thank you.
Thank you, Asher. Appreciate it. So how do you get that right balance between technology, automation, machine learning, doing things that humans can't possibly do, and the kind of human touch? I totally agree with you that don't just leave it to machines, but clearly with waning budgets and all clients asking for more for less, we have to rely more on technology for scale. So how do you get the right balance?
So the key thing that we look at is performance, right? So if you're looking at, for example, a CPA, you want to make sure once you're employing this automation or testing these bid strategies, your performance is not suffering. So that's where the human checks come in place. You can say to the machine, I want a £10 CPA, and then you can see if the machine is actually getting that £10 CPA, or if your performance has got better or worse than before you started implementing that automation.
Yeah. And is there any kind of rule of thumb in your view about how often you need to intervene as humans with the technology? Like, is it 80% technology, 20% humans, or is it changed depending on the sector and the client and whatever else?
Yeah, so it does change depending on sector and the client, and it changes based on the performance you're seeing as well. Normally, you get a learning period that's a couple of weeks or 4 weeks or say 50 conversions if we're according to Facebook. So what you want to do first is check it often in those first 2 weeks, just to make sure your performance isn't really falling off a cliff. And then after that, it's just checking it weekly. So I would say that 80-20, even 75-25 automation versus human checks.
Okay.
Does make sense.
That's really helpful. Thank you. And the theme of the conference is raising the bar. So is there anything you'd leave the viewers with to think about how you raise the bar in biddable channels beyond what you've touched on already?
Yeah, so I still think it's about just understanding what the changes are going on in the different platforms at the moment. So there's loads of changes that Google and Facebook have announced around. So Google has said that they're going to start giving us less and less search query data, even though it's a search query and paid search marketing. So it's just really understanding what's going on and then coming up with your own ways and optimizations to make sure you're not losing that performance and you're not losing that data that has been available in the past.
Great. Great advice. Well, look, thank you for joining us today. We're out of time, and thank you for being our last presenter of the day.
Thank you.
Always difficult having the graveyard slot, but you did a very good job. Thank you.